Let's do a checkup on the Ag Barometer. We are bringing in Fred Seaman. He's an executive director of research at CME Group. So always a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thanks for having me.
But some disappointing numbers coming in. So farmers are really feeling the effects of the trade war and the weather, Fred.
We certainly saw that in the May barometer. The barometer was down 14 points, which is a really big drop in 1 month, and it's down 42 points on the year. So we're talking about some pretty big weakness.
That was a dramatic move.
It was a dramatic move. The barometer is made up of two major sub-indices: current conditions and expectations for the future. And that expectations for the future has kind of been holding up the barometer. Current conditions, because of weak commodity prices, has struggled. They were both down significantly.
So what are you hearing from producers? What are farmers saying?
Well, what we saw in the data this time was, again, low commodity prices probably putting pressure on current conditions, but very bad spring weather for planting certainly had an effect, I'm certain, on expectations for the future. And then the trade war, the China trade war was occurring during the survey period. That certainly had an impact as well.
Is anything changing with planting? I know it was a rough spring getting those crops going.
Hearing it's not official yet, and I don't until we hear it from USDA, but sounds like last week was a good planting week, so maybe it's starting to turn the corner and catch up a little bit. So again, it will be interesting to see what the barometer shows next month.
Absolutely. What are farmers saying about the trade war specifically? What are their concerns?
Yeah, there's a lot of concerns, obviously. And China, that's a big part of it.
Yes.
Now, one thing to keep in mind with this barometer, it was surveyed prior to the announcement that there were going to be additional government payments. So that could have an effect on the next one as well. But we just went through a small concern over Mexico, and China is still out there.
Small concern.
China is still out there.
China's still out there, and China's still making moves with the soybean buying and not buying.
Correct.
So that's a big problem.
It is, and there are potential for U.S. agriculture given the issues they're having with African swine fever. So whether the U.S. agriculture will be able to take advantage of some of these issues is unknown because of the tariff issue.
Lots to talk about. Thanks so much for being on our show. We have to take off.
All right, thanks for having me.
For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.